You see the split screen here, pretty even all year long. What a match this will be.
Oh, I'm excited for this one, partner. Braxton Brown, the number 11th ranked wrestler, again, coming up against Lucas Byrd, the number 2 ranked 133, who's coming off one of the biggest matches of the year. He lost to Drake Ayala of Iowa. At the time, Byrd was number 1, Ayala was number 2. That switched after the decision went from Ayala. So if you think Lucas Byrd is excited for this one, that might be an understatement here going against Braxton Brown.
And the Pavilion faithful on his feet as both wrestlers in aggressive play style, both in attack mode early. See, they're trying to go for the leg. Braxton Brown gets the right one early. It's going to be an immediate three-point takedown added to the count for Braxton Brown.
13 seconds, all it takes for Braxton Brown to get that first takedown. Again, Brown 13-0 in duels so far this season.
Lucas Byrd 8-1 in duels, 11-1 overall this season. Head coach Mike Poeta said he's really turned himself into a leader this year. You see it in the national rankings, you see it on the mat. And they're off the mat now as both wrestlers reset in neutral.
You mentioned 11-1, that one loss, the only blemish on his resume so far, lost to Drake Ayala on Friday. And Coach Poeta said that it was Byrd who just was wrestling on Ayala's terms. So he wants to see a more aggressive, a more offensive-minded Lucas Byrd here going against Braxton Brown.
And Lucas Byrd, it's a guy that was a medical redshirt last year. He started off the season. He hadn't wrestled for a year prior to the start of this season. So a guy who shook off the rust pretty much immediately. He solidified himself in this 133 spot run.
And he took that time on the bench as well. You were talking about the impact that Byrd has had so far in this Illinois practice gym. Is still Brown up 3-1 here on Byrd. There was a 3-word phrase that stuck out to me that Coach Poeta said about Byrd that really stuck with me. A big-time leader. Someone who can help these freshmen along, especially doing so when he wasn't in the singlet last year.
For Braxton Brown, holds an 11-game win streak. 5 ranked wins, a chance to make it 6 here today. And he's up 3-1 early in the first period of this 133 set.
Let's go. Warning on green. Warning on green.
This is when Brown is best, when he's in that neutral position, not afraid to attack. Coach Clemson has been giving him high praise for this position all year long.
An early warning by the ref just seconds ago on Lucas Byrd. No points as a result of it. 3-1 is the score. Braxton Brown still up. Not much riding time. Pretty even between both wrestlers here in set 1. Lucas Byrd, the redshirt senior from Cincinnati, Ohio, deadlocked with Braxton Brown. A top 11 matchup at the Pavilion. It's living up to the hype so far. Both wrestlers feeling each other out, not giving each other anything to take advantage of early. Good work around there by Lucas Byrd to retain that neutral position. See, these are two guys that are highly experienced, highly qualified in this class. Byrd goes to his knees. Braxton Brown just trying to jockey for position. Down on the near side of the mat.
A lot of hand fighting here between Brown and Byrd. You mentioned looking around the Big Ten landscape, Ben, as to what some of the best bouts are tonight. Penn State goes up against Rutgers, so there will be a couple big ones there as the first period will come to an end. But there's almost nowhere you'll find a top 11 matchup at 133.
Reset, don't move.
It's going to be a great one here across the landscape of NCAA wrestling tonight.
No doubt. Very even so far as period 1 comes to a close and the timer starts on the second. Brown stacking the riding time up. Byrd flips him over. Brown trying to maintain position. The Maryland coaches on his feet. Throw out the challenge block, so that red block's coming out.
Two reversal.
And it's a reversal point. Add 2 to Braxton Brown's total. 5-3.
Stop. Yep.
Or rather 3-3 as the score stays knotted after a challenge block was thrown by Alex Clemson. What'd you see on that one, Ryan?
Yeah, what they're going to try and look at is they thought that Brown got into position for a second takedown on Lucas Byrd, which would make the score 6-1 before the 2 reversal points come into play. That was a quick block thrown from head coach Alex Clemson. A reminder that the way that challenging works right now with NCAA wrestling is you use it, and if you don't get it, you'll lose it. So 1 challenge apiece. Clemson will use it here at 133, have our 2 referees take a quick look at it here between Brown and Byrd, because this is a big second takedown. If Brown could have that re-awarded, we'll see right here. Brown just trying to pulse through the back, and they thought right there that Brown was able to get Byrd's shoulders in position Not for a near fall, nothing like that. You see the block already comes in, but just enough for a takedown that would make it 6-3 in favor of the redshirt junior Braxton Brown.
Head coach Alex Clemson for Maryland. He knows what he's doing. He wrestled at Virginia Tech from 2011 to 2016. Now in his 6th season with the Terps, and this is a guy who's an elite recruiter. He was a big part of landing Braxton Brown. The two work well together. You can see the communication there between the two right now.
Yeah, they're talking right now just about this play right here again. Brown
another look, slowed down this time.
You see Byrd fighting for his life to get out of it before the swipes come.
1 second, no too near fall.
Brown started to take control.
Call is going to get confirmed here, Ben. Yeah, there's no near fall points awarded. Clemson wants one more chat about it.
So Clemson chirping on the sidelines, but the call is confirmed, so it's going to stay at 3 apiece. No takedown on that. The near fall confirmed. So 2 for Lucas Byrd, and he'll take top spot now. Early whistle by the refs.
Yeah, we'll correct it right there. She was looking for a near fall. That would have given Braxton Brown the points right there. And if it were to stand on the near fall, you were looking at the 3 points, the same equivalent as a takedown would be a quick 2 to 3 second near fall.
Lucas Byrd slams Braxton Brown to the ground. Brown, a good job maintaining position. All in control for Lucas Byrd right now. You can see the riding time start to stack up.
A couple mat returns here for Lucas Byrd that becomes so crucial because Braxton Brown's trying to break that hand lock, but Byrd's mat returns are making it so the riding time starts going in the Illini favor.
And Byrd now grappling onto the left leg of Braxton Brown. And Clemson on its feet. Has Byrd now in a weird hold on the side. It's going to be close to the edge. Clemson wants points. It's going to be out of bounds, neutral position. Clemson animated on the sidelines.
Yeah, Brown just so efficient working from his back as well. Trying to get the reversal to go against Lucas Byrd and take this lead here with a minute to go in the second period. Maybe a chance for a near fall too is, again, the work by Brown on his back to get Byrd into an uncomfortable position, but Maryland can't be awarded with the points.
No doubt. Byrd was in full control there as he is now, but credit to Braxton Brown for the hip return around on the other side.
It might be most impressive, Ben, about both these wrestlers. You see, this is a top 11 matchup, but both these wrestlers were 125s last season. They make that jump up to 133. Byrd was an All-American undefeated for the Illini at 125 before medically redshirting. And he was saying he wanted the challenge of moving up a weight class. 125 is a bit easier, so you go to 133, and pound for pound will always get harder in collegiate wrestling. Byrd so far having his way this season, but against Brown, it's heavyweight versus heavyweight at 33.
Nearing the end of the second period here, the riding time just south of a minute, so not enough to claim that extra point if it ended now. And 3-3 were knotted. Both wrestlers, any point means something right now as Braxton Brown takes another hard fall to the mat. And he's on his stomach now.
Yeah, Brown's really fighting at that belly button height to try and break the grip of Lucas Byrd when they're on their feet. Before he can do it, Byrd just too quick and gets him back to the mat with a mat return.
You see the riding time now, minute 20, stacked up just over 20 seconds on that sequence alone. Credit to Lucas Byrd on that one as period number 2 ends. And 3-3 reads your score. Number 11, Braxton Brown 3, and it's all because of these mat returns.
Yeah, again, emphatic. You won't get any additional points after the takedown, but the riding time in Byrd's favor heavily entering the third period, just making it so difficult for Byrd to establish an offense, or for Brown to establish an offense. My apologies.
With top 11 matchup, deadlocked at 3. Byrd going for the legs like he has all match long. Braxton Brown backpedaling, but still in attack mode. So headlocked as Brown steps out of the Maryland logo. Byrd still in it. Very even start here to set number 3. So Lucas Byrd holds the best record of any Illini on the team, 6 decision wins. It looks like any win now will come in decision territory.
Byrd's a wrestler that head coach Mike Poeta says they're still not wrestling to the Lucas that they normally see. Still thinks it'll be 6 to 7 weeks until they find that Lucas Byrd that they had before the medically redshirted season. But they're looking for Byrd to develop more of an attacking mindset, and it comes in these big matchups against Ayala, against a Braxton Brown.
See, both wrestlers started off passive, now they're aggressive. Byrd grabs the head, and the Maryland faithful on its feet on the sidelines. A top 11 environment here in College Park. Seen a couple times this match, both wrestlers going out of this circle. Refs motion them to go back to neutral. It's going to happen again. So they go off the mat. Braxton Brown takes a tumble into the scorer's table, and they'll reset with just over 30 seconds to go in this final period.
Hey, both guys got a warning for stalling. Here we go.
For Byrd, he'll take this neutral position where the clock runs down and his riding time almost confirmed, which would give him an unofficial 4-3 win. And Braxton Brown needs to be thinking offense and looking for that takedown to overcome, as a riding time now secured for fighting Illinois.
16 seconds Braxton Brown has to keep his 11-match win streak on the line. After Lucas Byrd secures the riding time, it's all but locked up for Byrd. Just under 7 seconds now. It's going to take a miracle effort from Braxton Brown. And add it to the count, another 3-point takedown for Lucas Byrd before time expires. A 7-3 victory for the number 4 ranked 133 wrestler in the country. Lucas Byrd, another masterclass in 133 against the graduate Kraisser.
Big 15-0 for Miller on your right. Kraisser from Ellicott City, went to Centennial High School just down the road in Howard County.
Ethen Miller, mentioned number 6. He had a team-high 5 major decisions last year. He's increased that this year. 5 ranked wins on the season. An unbelievable 79-24 career record through his time at Maryland. Jaxon Kraisser, a graduate student. His third school, went to Campbell, then Iowa State, before landing at Illinois.
And that's a lot of great experience Kraisser comes in, especially wrestling in the Big 12. There's nothing really like the Big 10 for wrestling, but if there's anything that's second on that poll that can get you ready for what you'll see in the Big 10, it's the Big 12 at Iowa State.
And a lot of veteran experience. It's his 6th season of collegiate wrestling. He's got a 71-37 career record. That's almost as good as Ethen Miller. As Miller goes down to his knees early. Grabbing both the legs of Kraisser, takes him in the air and throws him to the ground. A 3-point takedown for Ethen Miller. Miller time in full effect here in College Park.
That's what Maryland needed to get on the board first, and they do it through their number 6 ranked 57, and it's Ethen Miller.
And that riding time just at about 11 seconds now. Wrestlers take the center.
Okay, hold on. Okay, green set. Don't
So
move,
a change. Maryland gets on the score sheet first before Illinois.
Ben, we're not even halfway through here between Maryland and Illinois. So for Maryland in front of its home crowd for the second time in a week, it's a big spot for Maryland to get something as well right before intermission.
Kraisser gets on the board with an escape point, his first point of the day. Kraisser, he's won 3 of his last 4 matches, putting Ethen Miller's 15-0 season record on the line. A perfect undefeated season for Ethen Miller, the only wrestler in Maryland's key rotation still undefeated.
Big season so far for Ethen Miller. He's got his sights set on some work for the Big Ten championships, and then maybe even in Philadelphia for the NCAA championships, looking to qualify there again.
And another wrestler is Miller, alongside his brother from Maryland, who bumped up weight classes. He swapped 149 for 157 and bumped up 8 pounds. The same wrestler we're seeing on the mat today. Ethen Miller, so dominant through his 3 years at Maryland.
And the progress that Clemson said that Miller made to go up to 57 was remarkable, saying that Miller put on 13.5 pounds of net muscle, a transformation that Clemson's never seen before. There was conversations of him putting on too much muscle, and it leads to takedowns like that.
And you see the muscle in full effect. 3 points, the swipes are coming as Kraisser backpedals, trying to regain some of that balance. At 3 points, it's a 6-1 lead for Ethen Miller. 2 more on the board as points flying everywhere. 8-2 is your new total. So 2 points added for Ethen Miller from the reversal. Another point added from the escape by Jaxon Kraisser. As we end the first period here, 8-2. And Ethen Miller doing what Ethen Miller does, taking up Jaxon Kraisser and slamming him down on the mat for the takedown. The
Boom,
number 6 ranked wrestler.
Yeah, that's a big way to get your first 3 points of a bout and put Maryland on the board early. And you mentioned that 6 points that we just saw coming from Miller and Kraisser. Second takedown that comes for Ethen Miller.
And Miller, the aggressor, here to start the second period. Kraisser backpedaling to add an escape point to his total. But Ethen Miller really saying, why not let it fly to start this second period? A 5-point advantage going his way here early. Stalled at center mat is both the wrestlers here. Another ranked matchup. Part of many we'll have here today. Still 5 more to go. 6 if you include this one. But Illinois, a 15-0 team lead convincingly. 3 major decisions along with a pin by Cannon Webster.
Yeah, Webster with the pin just in that last weight class at 49.
And now Kraisser getting some things going, but 3 more points for Ethen Miller brings his total to double digits. 11 points for Ethen Miller. That riding time almost at a minute now in dominant fashion.
Red, you're in control. Red, you're in control. 1.
Kraisser escapes the hold of Miller for another escape point. He's lived off those here in the second period. So 3 for his total. 11-4, a 7-point advantage for Ethen Miller. Plus the riding time brings this into major decision territory. That'd be 4 points for Maryland, their first points of the day. If this stood, it would be a big one for the Terps, still scoreless overall. Jaxon Kraisser, a win-filled resume to go along with his time. His third school two-time transfer as the second period comes to a close. 11-4, he stacked a couple escape points on there.
These are some of the loudest takedowns we've seen so far through 5 matches, 2 coming from Ethen Miller. That's why he's got the 11-4 lead right now over Jaxon Kraisser.
A lot of crowd pops from the Terp faithful when Ethen Miller brings the hammer to the ground. Kraisser goes for the legs. So does Miller, and he has that 2-leg hold we've seen so much today. Steps to his feet. He has Kraisser on a swivel and slams it back down. Kraisser pivots around, taking command now. The challenge flag seemingly thrown down by Mike Poeta on the sidelines. He's animated as the officials take pause, and we'll find out what happened on that one.
So Poeta talking and thinking that that was a dangerous position that Kraisser was put in by Miller. You saw right there, Kraisser on Miller's back, and Miller just really threw the back down looking for a takedown attempt, and Poeta not happy about that move, thinking it was potentially dangerous, and it will be awarded a point to Jaxon Kraisser.
So 11-5 is the total after a challenge block thrown out by Illinois head coach Mike Poeta. And the slam on the board for Braxton Brown. He has that 2-leg hold and slams it back down on the mat.
Got to watch the head there for Kraisser. I think Coach Poeta has a reason to be feeling frustrated with that one. A point will be awarded to Jaxon Kraisser. Up for grabs call, but it will be the 1 point that gets awarded to Illinois.
This match still in decision territory, if you include the riding time point claimed at the moment by Ethen Miller. But that could change if Kraisser stacks up position here. Jaxon Kraisser, a graduate from Ellicott City, Maryland, trying to show out for his fans, the in-state product. Miller on a swivel, no points, seemingly points awarded, and Miller's going for attack mode, and he'll get it. Another takedown brings it a 9-point lead for Ethen Miller. Just 35 seconds to go. Miller in full control.
Another big takedown for Ethen Miller coming in the final 30 seconds of the third period.
Certainly Miller time. As Alex Clemson and the Maryland coaches on their feet. Another point for an escape by Jason Kraisser. So an 8-point lead for Ethen Miller as we head into the final seconds of this one.
Yeah, riding time secured, Ben, so make it 9. Miller will pick up the major decision here. A big first 4 points for Maryland. Got the good sportsmanship between Miller and Kraisser with the high five there at the end, but a lot more high fives to come for Ethen Miller. Maryland's first 4 points, a deserved flex. The Terps now have their captain. It's Jaxon Smith. A big moment at 184 against Edmond Ruth.
A big-time matchup here, Jaxon Smith, Edmond Ruth. Some call it the matchup of the night, and you can see why. Jaxon Smith ranked number 13 to Edmond Ruth is 10, and both powerful, dominant wrestlers at the 184 column. And Terps is trying to cut the blow. But for Illinois, their first time playing here in College Park in 5 years, and they're trying to do it in dominant fashion. They have so far here today. And Edmond Ruth looking to be the next to do it for the Fighting Illini. He spent 2 years at Lehigh before transferring to Champaign. And he's had nothing but success.
We'll talk about success recently too. Jaxon Smith, 2 big wins in Michigan. He had a fall against Michigan State's Luke Daly, and then a decision in a ranked matchup against Michigan's Jaden Bullock. He won Big Ten Wrestler of the Week for the week of January 16th. That was the first time he's won that in his career, and the first time a Maryland wrestler has won it since alum Michael North, who's in this building tonight, won it almost exactly a year ago.
Jaxon Smith, he's won his last 5 matches, riding that 5-match win streak, looking to extend it. Edmond Ruth, a first-place Big Ten finish last season, and he's been so dominant here in the nation's top 10 again this year. So still scoreless, kind of a break from other matches we've seen where points start to rack up early. Not the case in the 184.
Center.
We've talked about it with a couple wrestlers so far, Ben, but this is a moment where an Illinois wrestler can make a statement after a loss in that tough match to Iowa. Again, it was number 5 Gabe Arnold for the Hawkeyes, who beat Ruth 5-1, so a decision victory in Iowa City. Not an easy place to wrestle, and that's not an easy wrestler either at 84. But what is Ruth's response now in another Big Ten match?
Another opportunity for Edmond Ruth. Jaxon Smith clawing his way, trying to get this period's first points on the board. Smith, a celebrated wrestler, 2024 NCAA qualifier, won a match at Nationals, and a 2-time Big Ten placer. Another Terp in a new weight class, down from 197 into this 184 spot, and he flips him down on the ground for the first 3 points of the match. Jaxon Smith, a takedown to start things off in the 184. And they'll move on to the edge of the mat. Almost thought he had another one, but couldn't find room rather to work with.
Okay, green's gonna be down facing you, red, your control.
It's Jaxon Smith just doing Jaxon Smith things. So get into a match, get that big boom as we hear from the Maryland Pavilion crowd.
Big booms from Jaxon Smith. Edmond Ruth swerving and bending that corner for the escape point. For the first point for Illinois. So 3-1, Smith up 2 after that textbook takedown. 2 evenly matched wrestlers standing their ground. Smith, he was ranked as high as number 3 in the 197 class last year. He had a team high 10 dual wins last year. He's already matched that with 10 this year, trying to break last year's streak with 11 here today. And the buzzer sounds, so after the first period, it's going to be a 2-point Jaxon Smith lead.
If he wants to break that personal best bet, it comes with takedowns like this against a top 10 opponent. Again, he had Ruth on his heels for a moment, took advantage for that only takedown so far through the opening 3 minutes at 184.
So Jaxon Smith will ride the top to start the second period. And stays there, 10 seconds in. 3-1, Illinois as a team up 21. Lights are closing for Maryland. Their 4-game win streak on the line. Looks as if Illinois will extend their all-time series lead to 9-0 versus Maryland. Maryland's never beat Illinois, much less here at home in College Park. So Jaxon Smith claims position once again, doing a good job maintaining it. He's got Ruth 2 arms in a lock right now. Ruth trying to stand back up, but you see Smith not letting that happen. As Ruth dragging that right leg for position. And the hips are turning right and gets back up on his feet. And is awarded with an escape point because of it.
That's how you build the base. Edmond Ruth was patient there for a moment, so you see the riding time in Smith's favor before that escape point, but slowly but surely getting back to his feet and then using the hand fighting too to break Smith's grip.
Ruth, he's 16-4 in his 20 Big Ten matches played. A pretty dominant percentage in conference play, driving his hips down outside the mat. And they'll reclaim neutral position. So 3-2, a low-scoring 184 duel here. Both highly experienced, highly relied on veterans for their respective teams.
Improve, gentlemen, improve.
Less than 10 seconds now on the clock in the second period. Both wrestlers jawing at each other. And the buzzer sounds once again as the Jaxon Smith lead. This time the lead is cut in half from 2-1. And you see some of it here.
Yeah, just that push off, that hand fighting I was mentioning from Ruth. They gave him a big second point, both via the escape. Now it's Jaxon Smith looking for an escape, and he'll do quick hand fighting of his own.
It's a big escape point by Ruth, getting points any way he can. They drive themselves outside the mat once again. Clemson wanted a point on that, does not have the challenge left to throw out. And the score will stay at 3-2. Clemson animated on the sidelines. As Smith goes to his knees and Ruth takes control again.
Yeah, Clemson wanted a reversal for Smith right there, going again, quick hand fighting, didn't get the escape point, but then it looked like Smith was in a position for a reversal for a moment before they went outside the circle.
Smith was working to build a base, but Ruth took him down to the ground. Back up now, sliding out of bounds. Third time in a row that's happened. And they'll go back to the center spot. So still 3-2. Still in decision territory.
Set, cover, here we go.
Smith on his feet, reverses away for the escape point. To increase his lead to 2. A narrow margin. A takedown from Edmond Ruth would pay dividends here for Illinois.
Fingers, get out of fingers.
Jaxon Smith playing defensively, got his arms wrapped around Ruth. Just over a minute remaining in this final 184 period. Both swiveling back up to their feet, zigzagging around the mat. Ruth with the right hand hold on the shoulder of Smith.
Ruth has been unafraid, Ben, to go for those low double leg shots. Smith's been playing defensive so far, and it could be that way still for the final 40 seconds.
Number 10 versus number 13 going at it right by the Maryland bench. And again, they're too far out, so it'll be reset. 4-2 with 32 seconds.
Jaxon Smith has had some buzzer beater moments so far. You go back to that win against Bullock with Michigan. It's a last second takedown. He's great in these final 30 seconds. And he can find that extra edge like Ruth is doing now.
And just a point deficit between the two, 4-3. It'll just take one more point for Ruth to tie it before the buzzer. 13 seconds. Mike Poeta animated on the sidelines, as is Clemson. Nearing the edge of the mat, 5 seconds and counting. Smith trying to hold on to this 1-point lead, and he will. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, says Jaxon Smith. A 4-3 victory over number 10 ranked Edmond Ruth. And what a win it was. A decision victory adds 3 more points to the Maryland total, so 25-7 goes the overall score.
It's a grinded out, old school top 13 battle.